I had a number of questions that I was dying to ask you. And I know that you're an MP, Vancouver East. And, well, I got to tell you, one of the first questions that has been burning in my heart and my brain, and I have to ask, okay? Why in the world would the government, the Canadian government, allow imports of cat and dog for products?
They may be aware of it and they just decide politically they don't want to do it. They may not be very aware of it. They may be aware of it and they just decide politically they don't want to do it.
Let me ask you this. You initiated legislation into the Canadian government with respect to putting a ban on cat and dog food products, or is it more specifically the labeling of both?
Yes.
And the bill is called?
The title of it is, I've got it with me here.
It's Bill C-296.
Bill C-296, an act to amend the Canadian Consumer Product Safety Act and the Textile Labeling Act. So both of those provisions would, one, make it illegal to import cat and dog fur, and it would require labeling specifically here in Canada. It hasn't been debated yet, but the bill has been introduced.
And when do you expect it to be debated? Like
Well, it won't be for a while.
How long is a while?
Oh, it could be even more than 2 years. But we have a roster.
They didn't even say on the labels that it was faux fur. All it said was the contents were polyester foam. And they're talking about the interior of the product, not the fur on the outside of the product. So right now, the labeling laws, there are companies that are reporting like most products that are made in China. They're not saying whether they are faux fur or they're not saying whether they are real fur. So this is kind of, to me, this is a deception on the part of the Canadian taxpayer, because really the Canadian taxpayer, the Canadian citizen, when they go shopping, we want to know, I think, exactly what it is that we're paying taxes for. I think we should have a right to know what it is that we're buying. And especially if there are companies that are reporting that most products that are made in China, they're not saying whether they are faux fur or they're not saying whether they are real fur. So this is kind of, to me, this is a deception on the part of the Canadian taxpayer. Because
This is also why I have the bill. As it stands now, under the Canadian Textile and Labeling Act, animal pelts or hides are not required to be labeled.
they're not required to be like
No, but the Canadian textile regulations only require that the existence of fur fibers, once removed from the skin of an animal and woven into textile fibers, be declared on the import and sale of all cat and dog fur in Canada. And two, it would ensure that all fur products have a label indicating the species of origin. So it would be specific. So yes, I agree with you. But I don't know that as of yet, a very high level of Canadian awareness about cat and dog fur. So there's obviously a lot more work that needs to be done.
Tell me, how many signatures do you need in order to pass this bill for it to succeed?
It's got nothing to do, there's no number required to pass the bill, they're not related. Petition is just a petition. So I find petitions very helpful, and I've really loved introducing them because they've been, it's been a very strong response to the petition. I think we have to start wrapping it up.
Okay, well, I'm just curious though, like, can a bill be passed without a petition, without signatures?
Yeah, they're not related, they're two different things.
Okay.
A bill can be debated and supported with no petition. Things can be, you can have petitions that have no bill.
I have here some signatures that I collected on my own time.
Okay.
And there's about 9 pages. There was someone who, came along with me, but there are, I just wanted to give these to you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay? So there's about 9 pages there. There are a few pages that still...
Office in Parliament, And what they do is they go through and they certify the petition. They make sure it's in the proper format and that basically people are given their address and their name and so on, which I can see. And once they certify it, then as a member of parliament, I can introduce the petition.
Oh, thank you. Okay. So there's about 9 pages there. There are a few pages that.
Yep. So what we do now, so you know, is that we send them into a particular office in the Parliament, and what they do is they go through and they certify the petition. They make sure it's in the proper format, and that basically people are given their address and their name and so on, which I can see. And once they certify it, then as a member of Parliament, I can introduce the petition.
So when it was the first time that you actually learned about the fact that there were cat and dog products being imported, and where? Well, basically where? From Hawaii, China? And Thailand?
No, I was not even aware of where it was coming from. I knew it was from Asian countries. But
Pleasure to meet you. Thank you for your time.